Big news from Toyota because they are launching Century as a separate luxury brand which will be sold, actually handpicked, worldwide. And they want to attack Rolls-Royce and Bentley, for example, and supposed to be also with a 12-cylinder under the hood. Very interesting. I'm Thomas, this is Autogefühl from the Japan Mobility Show here in Tokyo, and Toyota is offering Century already at this moment. There was this vintage sedan, but also at this moment they have the luxury sedan available. They also have a large SUV, which kind of looks like a Rolls-Royce Cullinan a little bit. However, this was mainly sold in Japan, some maybe in China, and also very low numbers and so on. But you couldn't order anything anywhere else. But now with this one here, this new luxury SUV Coupé concept, you can see here this very stretched roofline and the very long front hood in this orangish-ish color. This one, I heard that you can also order it anywhere basically. It will be hand-built at so-called Meisters. They will like master. So they use a German word for Meister than for the individual dealers, and very interesting. And you can individualize the car, exterior, interior, and so on. We'll also take a sneak peek at the interior very soon. And the difference is really that they want to push it globally and also really above Lexus. So we know that there's Toyota for the people's car and there's Lexus for the premium market. And they say that Century should be really pushed above Lexus, and that Lexus is then concentrating on the premium market, whereas Century goes on the high-end luxury market like Rolls-Royce and Bentley and so on. And you can see there are also big air intakes on front of the hood, so this could also once again signal a very large combustion engine, for example. And also this, very interesting front grille. This is probably then more open than in the final version. Who knows, maybe they will also offer different kinds of powertrains. We have to see about that. Large black wheels with this concept here as well. And we also have some more interesting perspectives for you, front and rear and so on. Century, this logo there is a phoenix, by the way, supposed to be or used to be like a golden phoenix. And yeah, signalizing this rising from like phoenix from the flames, and also a lot of tradition here behind this brand as well. And it's very interesting contrast, because Toyota has always been focusing on the low-end vehicles, so to speak, high sales numbers with the Corolla and the RAV4 and so on, and now as like a strengthened contrast really on the other top end of the line. The question is, of course, does the world need a new top-end luxury brand? That can be discussed definitely, because there are already so many luxury brands out there in the world, and some are struggling, some are more successful and so on. Usually they can only survive when they are integrated into another large brand. Oh, we can see the background is changing now a little bit. Also the whole room is red now. So on the one hand, it's kind of like a thing that like the luxury brands are also sometimes used as a playground, from some managers. But here, like the Toyota CEO himself, he was giving like a very emotional speech earlier that he wants to put like a lot of personal emphasis into this very project here, Century. And we have to see if this one is successful and people will accept it as a challenger to Rolls-Royce and Bentley. And soon when the doors are opening, we can also look at the interior, because they have thought of a completely new chauffeur concept, because that's also another emphasis of this vehicle. They say in this vehicle you will be chauffeured and not primarily drive it yourself. Here we can also take a look at the interior. So when the doors are open in this split way, the seat goes backward here on the passenger side. It turns towards you. A little bit here, this tilting function. Then you can have an easy entry and the seat will tilt back again. And this is actually the passenger side here, the right-hand drive model for the Japanese or for the UK market. And on the back part there you can see the steering wheel, then this glass split there with ambient light to the driver's seat, and here the single passenger chauffeur seat. This is how they imagine being chauffeured then here in this vehicle. Taking a look at the rear, what's most obvious? First of all, very streamlined design and no rear window. We know these experiments from Polestar, for example, with the Polestar 4. It's supposed to enclose you on the interior especially and give a more dramatic look from the exterior, and then you look to the outside with cameras. Same light design for the rear, which we've also seen in the front. And it will give you like this cocooning experience on the interior. The design is very clean, I have to say, so that's actually quite striking. And of course, as I said, you can basically pick any color on the outside you could possibly imagine. So as for the powertrain, it's not 100% decided yet. As we can see on this very concept there's no exhaust whatsoever, so it looks kind of electric. And I just talked to the officials from Century, and they actually say, they don't say it yet, but it could be possible in both directions. So it could be internal combustion engine, and then obviously, as we heard from rumors, 12-cylinder, but it could also be all electric. Maybe thinking about the Chinese market, where luxury EVs are definitely a thing. And then if you think about maybe the US market, where the top luxury cars are rather still combustion engine, for example, having that in mind. By the way, here in the side profile, they say that they use 60 layers of paint here for this special flame orange, which is supposed to be fitting to this mythology figure of the phoenix. Yeah, we have to see how many layers of paint the final paints will use. Up and down could maybe be also a charging indicator. And so far, as I said, only available like the luxury sedan and SUV in Japan, and the SUV also in China, but it's bigger than the expansion of the brand. And big question is also, how will they service the vehicle? Which dealers will sell it? At this moment, also only a very select handful of dealers are allowed to sell the Century cars, even in Japan. So it will be even more rare, of course, abroad, but they really want to build up this brand. Price-wise, by the way, at this moment, when we look at the Japanese market, so there are like the prices for the Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus. Then there would be the prices for the Century brand. For example, the SUV sold like about 140,000 euros if you calculate that with the yen price. And then above that in price is at the moment Rolls-Royce and Bentley and so on. So it will also be exciting if they still want to keep the pricing position, or if they say when we lift it a level higher, that they also lift the prices equally to Rolls-Royce and Bentley. So this will also be a very interesting development.